And I do believe that we have rotten politics, and I'm not using that as an exaggeration.
Hey everyone and welcome. In this video we look at sad sack carnage and his ridiculous money spending. We all saw his political message in the New Year's Eve fireworks celebration that he did, which was with the cooperation of the Police Commission, I might add, and the BBC. Well, that cost us 1.5 million to have cultural Marxism pushed down our throats. Well, this video isn't about that. This is another massive waste of taxpayers' money and a highly questionable decision in my opinion. This time it also has other connotations attached. Before we get into this though, let me just refresh your memory. YouTube won't allow us to talk about the US election, and this is directly related to that, so I have to be tactful, so please understand everyone. If you didn't know, Trump believes and says he has proof that e-machines, electronic machines, the voting machines and postal votes were used to meddle in the USA election. This is obviously disputed, everyone. He's going through the legal process to find out if it's true. Now the article itself is titled, Cost of Vote Counting in London Elections Set to Double. The cost of electronic vote counting in London elections will more than double next year, up from 4.1 million in 2016 to 9 million. So this sham of an election for a mayor we don't want or need costs us 4.1 million in tax. This is soon to jump up an extra 4.9 million for machines from the USA. Anyone guess what's coming? The Greater London Authority, the GLA, has used e-counting since its first election in 2000. You hear that? Since its first election, e-counting. But critics have branded the new contract for the London Assembly and mayoral elections the biggest waste of money at City Hall since the Garden Bridge. That's saying something, isn't it? The money being one issue, but I can think of a lot more issues in regards to this. But we'll carry on reading. GLA officials say the new contract will ensure better cyber security. That's debatable and contested, and allow more testing ahead of the count after a technical glitch delayed results in 2016. Technical glitch, really? That's what they're calling it? Okay. Speaking at a meeting of the GLA Oversight Committee last week, Greater London's Deputy Returning Officer Alex Conway said the new contract was within budget. Within budget. So London gets 9 million to elect a swamp womble, and it's been used in its first election in the Greater London Authority in 2000. He said the money is sort of not the point. The point is to run a successful election. Good luck with these machines that are involved in alleged election rigging. Now, I'm not saying that's what's happened, everyone. It hasn't been through court yet, and I will always wait for it to go through court. But that's what the president is alleging. But Pascal Crowe, Democracy Officer for scrutiny group Open Rights, said the GLA should release details of how it chose the winning bid. I can guess how it was picked, but I can't say on here. He said, given that the cost of the contract has more than doubled, taxpayers will want to know that their money is being spent wisely. Carnage and spent wisely don't go together. Actually, carnage and wisely don't go together either. What a melon this sorry excuse for a man is. Sad sack's whole career is the biggest waste of money in my opinion. There were only 2 bids in the GLA tendering process. IT consultancy CGI was a successful bidder. As part of their service, voting tech company Smartmatic, if you're not sure who they are, go and check them out, will provide the software and hardware for electronic counting. Now, we've all heard of Smartmatic before. That's a software that is being blamed for election meddling on the Dominion machines in the USA, allegedly. Let's look at some of the footage of the issues found with these machines and their software, shall we?
The firm Allied Security Operations Group carried out a forensic audit of 22 Dominion voting systems in Antrim, a small Michigan county. The report said, "We conclude that the Dominion voting system is intentionally and purposefully designed with inherent errors to create systemic fraud and influence election results. The system intentionally generates an enormously high number of ballot errors. The electronic ballots are then transferred for adjudication. The intentional errors lead to bulk adjudication of ballots with no oversight, no transparency, and no audit trail. This leads to voter or election fraud." Antrim County had issues with Dominion voting systems. This is from back in early November.
In Michigan, it was partially to blame for the 6,000 miscounted votes in Michigan's Antrim County. A skewed result initially saw Biden as winning the traditionally red county, but when corrected, they found out Trump actually won. The Antrim County Clerk, Cheryl Guy, initially attributed the problem to a combination of a software glitch and human error. But just today, county officials backpedaled on the statement, saying the Dominion software had no part in the mistake, now blaming the problem solely on human error.
However, the new report rules out human error. The statement attributing these issues to human error is not consistent with the forensic evaluation, which points more correctly to systemic machine and/or software errors. The systemic errors are intentionally designed to create errors in order to push a high volume of ballots to bulk adjudication.
Let's look at the Georgia hearings. Turns out those machines are connected to the internet and are hackable. As this man says, he did live in real time when it should not be possible. Listen to this.
So as we all know, there's multiple teams working on this and our technology team's into it. And as was broke early in the week and last week about connected devices, at this very moment at a polling location in the county, not only do we now have access through the devices to the poll pad, the system, but we are in. And it's not supposed to have Wi-Fi, and that's not supposed to be able to happen. So we've documented now. It's communicating two ways in real time, meaning it's receiving data and sending data. Should never happen, shouldn't be Wi-Fi. We've now documented it in real time so we can suck down the data. But that's going on right there where everybody's voting. And I just wanted to get it into the record.
Thank you. Mr. Jones?
One of those, is it a mobile precinct or is it a?
No, it's a standing building.
Okay.
That this should not happen. And it shouldn't happen in any way, but this is another one in real time. Won't disclose location because every location is being checked. But
See what I mean? Then we have this, a Smartmatic in the Philippines.
COMELEC Commissioner Rowena Guanzon is calling for a formal probe on the poll body's technology provider Smartmatic after it changed a script in the transparency server on election day. Guanzon said Smartmatic should be held accountable for what she calls a breach of protocol. She adds that COMELEC will not hesitate to investigate its own people if they also violated protocols. Guanzon is also not discounting the possibility that Smartmatic could be banned from joining future elections.
Smartmatic, in my opinion, has breached our protocol. And for that, they should be liable. They should be liable to the Commission on Elections. They should be liable to the people of the Philippines. They were not supposed to change anything without our knowledge and permission.
Now, I'm sorry, but that does not look good, does it? Now, do you see why I have an issue with Carnage bringing these machines into our London election? They are being investigated in the US and have been investigated in the Philippines too. In regards to the US, nothing's been proved, so I can't actually say anything's happened with this technology, but it is something we should be worried about, is it not? It's something we should be looking into before we bring it in for a mayoral election. Just a thought. Both times as well, it seems to be because of the software changing votes, allegedly. Then we have this from Breitbart. George Soros appoints chair of Smartmatic parent company to lead Open Society Foundations. We know who Georgie boy is, don't we? But Lord Mark Malloch Brown, the man that he appointed, is a Labour peer. Are we worried yet? The company's only prior work on UK elections was at a by-election count for Rushmore Borough Council in Hampshire in 2014. Hampshire, call for a recount's my suggestion. They also trained and assessed polling station and counting staff before the EU referendum. Yes, you heard that right. They were involved in the EU referendum as well. The 2017 general election, was that the one that Jeremy Corbyn did very, very well in? I think it probably was, wasn't it? My brain works overtime, doesn't it? And last year's local elections. Are we seeing why it felt like our votes were stacked against us? In my honest opinion, the only reason they didn't swing our votes is the numbers that voted were more than ever before, and it surprised them. Same as in the US and in the Philippines, but that is my opinion and only my opinion. But Mr. Conway and GLA elections manager Leah Goddard told last week's committee that Smartmatic had worked on an election in Scotland. The Scottish Government and Smartmatic itself have confirmed that this is not the case. While CGI has worked in Scotland, Smartmatic was not involved. It's interesting that, isn't it? Would that be the vote that got the SNP back into power? Let me say that CGI used Dominion machines, and Dominion machines have been using Smartmatic software around the world. So if they say that CGI was involved, it might not have been called Smartmatic at the time, but I suspect it was probably that software. So if CGI was used, in my honest opinion, so was Dominion, and seemingly problematic, allegedly, Smartmatic. A spokesperson for Smartmatic said the GLA conducted a robust and transparent public procurement process in which the prime contractor chose Smartmatic as their technology and elections partner. Together we combine the election experience, systems integration capacity and secure government, mission-critical IT project expertise required to deliver a successful election project. Successful but not fair in my opinion. Allegedly. A spokesperson for the Greater London Authority said that, as a candidate, the mayor had no involvement in the choice of contractor. Of course he didn't. If it's London, he had an hand. Plausible deniability maybe? Possibly? Could be? Now what's my opinion on this? Firstly, as we saw before, these machines and the software can be hacked and manipulated. We buy machines and software that's been questioned numerous times. Why would we do that? Why do we need electronic? We did wonder who voted for Carnage. Now we might have an answer. I'm not saying that is the case, but it does pique my interest. 9 million we pay for this wazzock to possibly, allegedly, maybe meddling results. Do you like how I did that? Now I'd like to know your opinion on this, everyone. Do you think this is worrying news? I mean, it seems like we've been using this for quite a while and we've been seeing what's been going on in America. Whether it is true or not is a different matter and we shall have to see what the courts decide. But it is worrying that we're going to be bringing it in while they're under investigation for meddling. I call it meddling, but you know what word I mean. It begins with F. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon, share it out, everyone. I really do need you to share it out and like it. Please, please, even if you didn't like the story, did you like the delivery? Stay sane, I'll see you on the next one.